Hello, and welcome back to Amateur Philosophers Play Games. I'm Noah, your host, who will also be playing the game today.
I'm Justin, just a commenter today.
And this...
Waiting on some equipment.
Yep. This is the show where we play video games, discuss philosophical ideas, problems, and philosophize about random topics. As a disclaimer, of course, neither of us are professionals. We're just two dudes on the internet who like talking about this sort of stuff. So, Justin, this is Spelunky, once again. We've been here before. But
yes.
This time...
Yeah, you never explained like what this game is.
Yeah.
You're just like, watch me die and throw this dog on spikes.
Honestly, watch me die and throw this dog on spikes is an excellent... Oh, watch me die. Thanks, game. Is an excellent explanation of this. But for those of you gamers out there... yeah, that's a good explanation of this game. It is a cruel, miserable experience where you will die very quickly. This game is actually... It's called Spelunky.
It's very fitting to do philosophy while you watch this. Very fitting.
It is. Very fitting. It's called a roguelike, I believe is the genre. So the dungeons, see that we walk through, they're procedurally generated. So they're random and different every time. Yeah, it's sort of like a platformer type thing where you have to maneuver around, grab the dog who gives you an extra life. And the other important thing is there is no way to save. So once you die, you start the game over from scratch, buckaroo.
Oh, I thought it was like a level thing.
Well, it is, but so basically this is there's 4 worlds and 4 levels in each world. This is 1-1. If I see, so this is the door, I'm making it into world 2 now. Yeah, this is world, so 1-1 completed. Press Z to move to the next level. And then now I'm in world 2. I'm in 1-2. If I die here, the game restarts and I go back to 1-1. So
that's what I thought. That's crazy.
It is a hard game.
That is very cruel.
Yes. Oh, and also there's tons of things that can kill you instantly. Monsters are really scary. There's dark levels like this. Those are always fun. Yeah. So if I wasn't being careful, this bat would have killed me. But I was being careful, like a philosopher should be. Yay!
Oh yeah.
Also,
and then you get to
let
buy
me show
stuff?
you one more fun thing about this guy. So this guy's a shopkeeper. See, you can buy stuff, right? But $10,000, that's too much money. I'm just gonna leave.
Did you? Oh, wait, what? Did you just?
I stole it.
It's a little glitchy. I bet. Did you blow up?
Nope. I stole the thing, and then the shopkeeper came after me with his shotgun.
Oh, I thought you blew up his shot. That's what it looked like to me. I just because it skipped the frame.
Oh.
So you just went out, and then I just saw a giant thing of fire, and I was like, what?
Nope. Mr. Shopkeeper was not happy that I stole from him, and so he shot me in the head. Oh yes. Also, these things. See these things I'm standing on here? It's a trap. Oh no. He shot me in the head. Whatever.
I know, but can you shoot him? If you bought a shotgun from him, can you blow him up?
Sure. But the one other thing, if I do that, I'll point out something else. But just know, you kill one shopkeeper, you anger them all. This game is...
Oh.
So yes. And also, every level thereafter will have a angry shopkeeper with a shotgun at the exit waiting to kill you. So.
Oh, dang. Okay.
Yeah, this game is not forgiving. It's very fun, but sometimes things like that happen. All right, anyway, that's enough about video games. We're not... Let's be honest, audience. You're not here for the video games. You're here for us. Because if you are here for the video games, I'm so sorry at gameplay you witness. I'm so sorry. Actually, I'm so sorry about the philosophy you hear about, too. But at least we have interesting takes sometimes.
Yeah. Hot take.
All right. Well, that's enough of that. Also, you have ropes and bombs you can deploy in this game, but whatever. We'll explain this as we go along. But let's get on to the topic of the day, shall we? Oh yeah, spikes auto-kill you no matter how many lives you have left.
That is unfortunate. So today's topic is... altruism, I believe you said, Noah.
I did say that, indeed. Altruism. So, for those of you who want to... Actually, since I'm playing the game, do you mind looking up just Merriam-Webster dictionary definition of altruism?
Oh,
professionalism, ladies and gentlemen. We definitely looked this up beforehand, but we're looking it up now to give you more time to watch this mediocre gameplay. Yeah.
And as a philosophy channel, we're totally going to use Merriam-Webster instead of, a philosophy dictionary.
Well, okay, when we're trying to define a term like this, I think the level 0 to do, look up a dictionary, because oftentimes the common English definition is not the same as the philosophy definition, but sometimes it is, and I think the common English definition is a good place to start, at least.
Okay, so let's see. There's like 3 definitions here. The essential meaning of altruism. This is the one that's like in blue. It says feelings and behavior that show a desire to help other people and a lack of selfishness, which is not what the philosophy definition is. Let's see. The first full definition is unselfish regard for or devotion to the welfare of others. And then the second one is behavior by an animal that is not beneficial to or may be harmful to itself, but that benefits others of its species. That is more in line with what altruism is in philosophy. Just being like not selfish is not usually what philosophers say altruism is.
Well, that's interesting because I honestly would think, as a amateur philosopher myself, I would think not being selfish is probably mostly what altruism is. Not being selfish and doing good things for people. Is that not what it is?
I mean, I guess it's just like when you think about not being selfish, you think like, for instance, giving money to a homeless person. You might think, oh, that was very selfish. Selfless? Selfless? Is there not a way to make it selfish? Like
the reverse of selfless. It means you don't care about yourself.
Selfless. That's it. You might think that's a selfless thing to do. Is like, and like because like you or like instead of or when you donate money, like you're at Panda Express, and please sponsor us, and you round up your change to donate to like kids for cancer, and you like ring the bell or whatever. Like you may think, oh, that was very selfish of me. Like I gave up extra money that I didn't need to, like. But that's not really what altruism is in philosophy. Like, that's definitely selfless. Like, it was a good thing to do, arguably. But in philosophy, selfless is when you do something and you don't get anything out of it. Like, the idea is, like, you don't want... It's like more of an inward desire kind of thing, where, like, you do something for no benefit to yourself. Like, absolutely no benefit. So not just being selfless, like, you have to, like, not get any positive from it. You have to walk away with either a net zero or even a loss.
Interesting. So like, is that even the case even if you like didn't expect to get a positive but you end up with one anyway? So for example,
yes. So it would be expectation, I think.
Okay.
But go ahead with your example.
I was going to say, I don't know, a fairy tale, one of the things where you help the blind beggar and it turns out the blind beggar is actually the king of the realm who gives you half the kingdom and whatever, that kind of thing.
Yes. Yeah, so it would be an expectation because it's all about like it's
because you weren't expecting.
So what right? It's like your desire. What are you desiring to do good, or are you desiring to have a good feeling, or to have something?
Have a good outcome for yourself.
Yeah. So if you lack that desire, then you are being altruistic in the philosophy sense.
Okay.
And so altruism is very. It's one of those things that like I remember I talked about it in my freshman year philosophy class. It's kind of a slippery slope for not in the fallacy sense, just like in the more of a rabbit hole for freshman philosophy students, because you might think like, oh yeah, you can totally altruism, totally a thing. You can totally be altruistic, and we should all try to be, we should all just do it because we can all do it.
Can't we?
But it's not that easy.
Explain.
Because, okay, for instance, like let's say you do the thing where, you round up your change at Panda Express. Well, before you do that like you're going to feel good about yourself. Like you're going to give yourself like a little pat on your back. Like, yeah, I did a good job. Good me. I deserve the spring roll. Like I did a good thing. I donated. Or like anytime you do something, you end up walking away with like a good feeling when you're like, I did the right thing. And you might say, well, that's me, being happy because I did something that was good, and doing good things makes me happy. And it's like, exactly. If the question is, would you do it if it did not make you happy?
Now that's an interesting question. So
like let's say like donating caused you actual pain. Like you didn't know it was for a good purpose. Like it caused you like psychological, like take 1d4 psychic damage.
That's a D&D reference for all you this is a bad situation. So see, I gotta get up on this ledge here, but there's this spikes. So think about spikes. You can walk through them, but if you land on top of them, you die. So I think the situation is I'm just gonna drop a bomb here, and that's
Yeah, see, look, that's what I saw when you went in the shopkeeper. It looked like that.
Oh no, that's
So I
not what
was
happened.
like, it looked like you just blew up his shop.
That would not be an altruistic thing to do for sure.
That would very much not be altruistic. But yeah, so like, could you do something if you got like psychological or like somehow you lost something and like would do it anyway, and not like throwing, like I said, and similarly, not like throwing yourself on a grenade or like a buddy, because while you're doing it, you like, oh yes, I'm gonna die, but it's for a greater purpose,
Right.
and, like I get like there's a bigger benefit. We linked it. I can link it back to we talked about with what is it? I forgot what it's called.
I don't really know what you're talking about, so you're gonna have to.
God doesn't exist because there's evil in the world.
The problem of evil, or the problem of pain. I suppose.
Is it just called the problem? I feel like there's another. Okay, anyway, yeah, the problem of evil is a big, like we use the word. Wow, I'm blanking today. I'm really blanking. What's that word we used? Not egregious. Gratuitous.
Gratuitous. Yeah. Oh, gratuitous
like,
evil. Yes.
like,
God can't exist because
so
gratuitous evil exists. I see.
Right. So there's evil, like, and gratuitous meaning there's no higher purpose. So like you knowing that there's like gratuitous pain to you, like if that's what you knew, would you still round up your change? If not, then you're not being altruistic. You're doing it for a cozy good feeling. At the end of the day.
Not the bees. Not the bees.
It's like the
the bees killed me.
Cards Against Humanity card. Bees.
So yeah, that is an interesting question. So that position states that you can't be altruistic because even if you think you're not doing it for personal gain, you are doing it for personal gain. The personal gain of feeling good about yourself, or donating money, or helping a little old lady across the street, or whatever you do.
Yeah,
which is interesting. So to prove that, you would have to prove that no person has ever performed a good act no person has ever performed a good act for truly selfless reasons, which I don't know. That seems like a hard thing to prove.
Well, I don't think you have to prove that. No, I think it's a lot easier than you think. Because like we wouldn't have to go person by person. We just have to start with knocking down like the pillars on which all people stand, and then look at them and be like, look, no one could do it. Which is what a lot of philosophers do when we have to like disprove something. It's not that we,
try to
go like we don't itemize it and go each one. We just find a big thing that like takes out like a lot of things that like negates huge sections, and we just keep doing that until we're left with either this one thing is the answer, or there is
I didn't mean to check the dog. Oh no, spider!
No, don't kill the dog.
Well, I died, but the dog survived.
The dog just
no.
It looked like the dog stomped on the spider for you, and I was like, "Yeah, you lived," but nope.
Well.
So see, if the dog had done that, would he be altruistic?
No, because he knows he wants to save me. Because if he saves me, then I can save him. So he is getting something out of it.
I think he is getting something out of it. But actually, okay, this was a joke when I started, but this is actually serious because I don't think that animals have concepts.
Oh.
Which is a whole nother thing. So I think that dogs and like animals are the only things that can be altruistic. Because they don't have the idea of, well, some of them. No, hold on. I might have painted myself in a corner here. Hold on. Because monkeys definitely know how to make bargains.
I don't know about that, because I think we talk about altruism. It's generally a moral concept, right? Or maybe it's not actually. I don't know.
You just want to talk about ethics again.
I always want to talk about ethics. Is it right to always want to talk about ethics? Let's talk about it. No, but okay. Here's as long as we're talking about ethics with this seamless transition here. Let me put an ethical question. If you desire to do a good thing because you believe it is a good thing to do, can that be altruistic?
If you desire to do a good thing because you know it's a good thing to do?
Yes, because God wants you to do it, or your mom wants you to do it, or whatever, but you do it because you believe it is the correct thing to do. You don't think you're not getting any tangible gains out of it, and let's say for the sake of this discussion that you're not getting any emotional gains out of it.
Okay, so
you're merely doing it because it is the good thing. It is the lawful good thing.
Okay. So I guess the question would be, is your justification for it being the good thing, oh, my mom says to do it, or oh, God says to do it? Is that why you're doing it? Just to be clear.
Let's say the justification, I want to keep this broad for now. The justification for doing it is your moral code dictates that you should do it. Whatever or wherever your moral code may come from, your moral code dictates that you should do it.
I don't think so then.
Interesting. Why not? Because you're not getting anything out of it in this thought experiment.
Right. Well, you are doing, like, it's the satisfaction or like the keeping in line with your moral code. That's what you're getting out of this. Well, hold on.
Is that something you get? I'm
That's what I'm really trying to think about this. I'm trying to think back, like when we talked about this, like set up if this is truly how it works. Because I remember being extremely difficult to be altruistic.
I'm not.
Like, it's very
I'm not going
hard.
to debate that.
It's hard for a really good reason.
I think it's hard. I think it's harder than people would expect. I'm not. Oh, that was not a thing. Good. That was not a good thing to do. Falling on spikes. I agree. It is difficult to be altruistic. I'm just not sure I want to agree it's impossible.
Right. I think the idea would be like, so Plato talked about the good.
Right.
He was very big. He was very good with words. The good. And altruism, I think, would be like,
I'm just restarting this thread. Yeah.
Desiring to do the good, not because it is good, but is just desiring to do it.
Yes. Well, wait,
that is who you are as a person.
So you're saying altruism is desiring to do the good despite not knowing that it is good?
I guess it would be.
That's just doing a random act.
Not knowing that it's good. Not caring that it's good.
That can't be right.
That I feel like that would also have to be involved, because otherwise you're saying I'm morally justified. Like I'm doing the moral thing here. You're getting the benefit of being moral, basically.
Is there a benefit? Is that a benefit though? It's not a tangible benefit. Is it a mental or psychological benefit? I'm not.
I guess it's a social benefit, maybe.
Is it though? Because if you do,
here we go. Maybe if you were stranded on an island,
okay, and
there was no God. Let's pretend God doesn't exist in this scenario. In this argument. So there's no God. So there's no moral justification from God. But like, let's see, what's something good you can do? Okay, let's say you're stranded on this island, like Tom Hanks in like Castaway.
Okay,
and you take recycling or like trash out of the ocean, but you don't know that like that trash in the ocean is actually a problem. You just do it because I don't know. Never mind. Hold on. I think you can't get anything out of this
because it can't be arbitrary. It seems like it also couldn't just be
happy. I think the idea has to be that if it were a bad thing to do, you would still do it because that's who you are. Like it's that level of I do this because of me.
No, that's not altruism. That's following your instincts, which is the very opposite.
Well, no, like I'm saying, it would still have to be the morally right thing to do. So, like for instance, not murdering somebody. But like, let's say that you were supposed to murder or that it was good to murder the person for whatever reason. Like that's the way the moral system was. It is good to murder people. You wouldn't do it because that's not what you do. Kind of like how vegetarians like, sorry, I'm gonna go on let my medium rare steak side show. Let's like vegetarians. There's nothing morally wrong with eating meat. They just choose not to. Like it's morally okay to eat meat, but they're like, I don't want to do it because that's not what I want.
I think we're straying away from the definition at this point because we've changed this definition from the idea of something that is selfless to just something you do because you do it with no real good justification. Which, I mean, I suppose that is a thing you can do, but that's not really what we would talk about as typically being altruistic or being
I
good.
feel like
or
I think that's where like the pitfall comes in, is that like because you know you're doing the morally right thing, you will get something out of it. So I guess in your thought experiment, where it's just stipulated that you get nothing out of it, maybe, I don't know, you are morally deficient, or emotionally deficient, like you don't feel good about things for some reason, then yes, you would be altruistic in that case, because you don't even get the psychological or the emotional response of I'm morally justified in this, and like I'm doing a good thing. But like that only exists in a vacuum, because as soon as you go into the real world, people do have that feeling.
Yes.
Like when you,
but
like,
can you,
at least
basically, can you? I understand that people do have that feeling, but I'm going to posit that not every person who has ever done a good act, and okay, setting aside people who with our hypothetical psychological deficiency, I don't know what that would be called, but setting aside those, I'm going to posit that sometime, somewhere, in some place, a person has done a morally good action that has, for the sake of being morally good, and has not gotten any, like, oh, I'm doing this because I'm good sensation out of it.
And they don't get like a good feeling because, like, I don't know, like they just like helping people, or like they like whatever it is they're doing. They like whatever moral thing it is that they're doing.
Well, oftentimes doing the right thing is hard, right?
Right. But then, like, once again, is it like gratuitous, where it's like you, like, there's no higher level of like feeling of like, oh yes, I did the right, like, yeah, it sucks that I'm gonna starve to death, but at least this child will live on, and that's a good thing, I guess. Like that would be like, even though you're dying for the like, if you think for a second, like,
no, spider.
Oh, the kid will live on, and that's good, and that makes you happy for like a second before you die, then no, you gain something from it. You can't walk away with anything. Which is why, like, it's like, the best way to think of it is, would you do it if it hurts you overall? Like, you lost.
Oh, well,
like, emotional,
I would say,
or mental.
If you're starving and you come across a starving child, giving up your last piece of bread and dying I would say that's an overall loss of you lose your life, but on the negative, but you gain a happy feeling for a minute or two on the positive. I would call that an overall loss. Going back to this actually ties back a little bit to our topic on Pascal's wager, the idea of expected value, but not to rehash that discussion.
Right. I think the idea though is that, like, you can't, like, I don't know,
Ooh.
There would have to be nothing to offset the cost, I guess. Like, that would be altruism, where it's like no good is coming to you from this at all. So I think that, like, maybe the only case of altruism would be if you did it on accident.
That can't be right.
That would be altruism, because you would have to not know that you did the right thing.
No,
like,
that can't possibly be right, because like, okay, can you be, I guess this is a question, can you be moral on accident? But okay, let's actually not talk about that right now. That sounds like a difficult topic. But that can't possibly be right, because selflessness can't be accidental, can it?
I think so. Like, children often, like, don't know that they're being selfless when they do things. Like, when they start sharing just randomly, they don't really know they're being selfless. They just like sharing, which, I mean, obviously is an altruism, but it's definitely selfless. Well, I guess according to Merriam-Webster dictionary, it is altruism. Arguably from philosophy, that is not altruism. That is because the child is getting, like, the child is happy because they are sharing.
Right. Okay.
Like, whatever, like, the action they did gave them a happy feeling.
Yeah.
So, like, what would be, I guess, like, if you didn't know, let's say for some reason you took somebody. No, hold on. I'm trying to think here of a good example of why you would want to do it. Let's say you. Let's say you gave up your spot on a plane and said, "Oh, I'll wait for the next one." They were overbooked, and you let this nice little old lady go. No, never mind. That's not gonna work either. Before it, you would know. I had an example earlier where it was like you would have to do it on accident, like not know that if like you did this, you would like negative effects would happen to you, but you did it anyway, just casually because you didn't care, and then something bad happened. That would be altruism. It would be like if you didn't know that stepping on or like covering yourself on a grenade would save your buddies, but you did it anyway. That would be altruism. Like, because if you didn't know that you would die,
no, that can't possibly.
That you would be in pain.
No way, because so you're saying you have to know that there's going to be a negative, but not know that there could be a positive.
No. You have either you have to know that it like you will get nothing, so either it'll be your benefit will be 0, or there will be a negative. But if you know there will be a positive, then so you have to know that there will be positive, and that knowing that will make you happy somehow. Or no, I guess you just have to know that that you'll get something out of it. Like you'll get joy or you'll feel morally justified. If you don't know that, then you would it'd be different. Then it'd be like, oh yeah, that was altruism. Like if you that's why it's so hard to be altruistic by the philosophy definitions, because like somehow we always end up saying, well, we know we did the right. You can always say, well, I know I did the right thing. Right. And you being able to say that is like lessening your suffering from the action, which is a positive.
I'm not sure about that. Is less suffering the same as more suffering with some positive? I don't think those are equivalent.
What? But like, okay, so you're saying that like, if you get a fine of like $100, but like you get it reduced by 40 if you read to children, so like, if you do some community service, and so like it reduces the financial. Is that not a benefit? Like, did you not? Like, isn't the overall cost lower now? Like that, it's like you were given $40.
Yeah, mathematically, sure, but I think the problem is, are we talking about? So for your definition of altruism, you're saying you have to be a total 0. Are you saying it has to be a net 0 benefit to you, or you cannot have any gain at all? Because those are not the same thing.
You cannot have any gain at all, I guess. Yeah, that would be what it is.
Okay.
Which is why it seems like you could only do it either on accident, and then arguably, like, people are like, well, that's not very altruistic, because, like, a key part of it is that you do have to be selfless. But, like, can you be selfless on accident? Like, that kind of thing?
I don't think so.
It comes into play, which a lot of people say you can't. So then you get to the conclusion, well, you can't really be altruistic. There's no... But the thing is that okay? And my argument, this is my hot take that I told you about before the show. This is my hot take. It's okay to not be altruistic, because not even God is altruistic.
Oh, that is a spicy hot take.
I can even even Jesus, like the epitome. If anyone was going to be able to do it, it would be Jesus. But his biggest action of like suffering and giving up heaven and dying was for him. He got something. He did it because like he wanted us to be with him, which was really nice. Thank you.
Yes,
Jesus.
thank you, Jesus.
But he did it for himself. Like he did it because like he wanted us to be with him. And so he got us in the exchange there.
Okay.
Like, he got something out of it.
Okay, I see your point. I think the problem is we've just defined... We've run circles around the definition of the word altruism until it becomes like a self-contradictory... Or not quite self-contradictory, but until it becomes pointless or meaningless.
Arguably. Okay.
Okay, let's set the word altruism aside. I think that's become a bit too loaded. How about selflessness as a concept? Is it possible to be selfless?
I would say so.
Okay.
Like, selfless meaning you do something not thinking of yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, hold on. So not
you
thinking.
see?
Yes, not thinking of yourself. So, like,
Yes.
you could do a nice thing, like donate to charity or give money to homeless people or help an old lady across the street. As long as your mindset is, I'm going to help this person because like they need help.
Well, sir,
As long as there's like, as long as the only I in the statement is like you doing an action, then yes, like I'm going to do this because they need help. As long as the justification there and like the reason you're doing it is not for a gain for yourself.
Okay.
That is a lot easier to do. Being selfless.
I agree, but I think this definition of selfless you've just come up with is very close to the apparently I threw a bomb into Mr. Shopkeeper's house, and he now wants to kill me.
Good job. That was not very altruistic or selfless.
It was an accident. I didn't know he was over there.
Doesn't matter.
The bad thing is, yes, now he wants to kill me. The good news is, I can take all this stuff for free.
That is called looting.
oh, look at that. Wait, look. He killed himself on those spikes over there. All right, so now I just need to get down there without dying.
Let's get this straight. You looted a business and drove the owner to suicide.
It was an accident. He didn't mean to kill himself, I think.
What?
No, look. See those spikes? Or no, maybe this snake hero over here killed him. That also could have happened.
Oh.
But hey, I get to take a shotgun now. That's cool.
But anyway, so selflessness, you were saying, it seems like has become a definition that's too loose. Is that what you were saying?
No, what I'm saying is I think your definition of selflessness is the standard definition of altruism.
I would say it is the non-philosophy definition of altruism. Now let me. Since you're playing the game, let me look.
Let me look up selflessness on. The good Mr. Webster. What he has to say about it.
All right, selfless. Well, apparently there's a movie called Selfless, so let's not do that.
Like the name of a movie. Man, this game is brutal.
Having no concern for self.
Okay.
So that would be like.
So selfless is a passive
throwing
term.
Yourself on a grenade.
Selfless is a passive term, as in having no concern. Altruism, by Merriam-Webster, is an active term, as in doing something with no concern of self. Is that about right?
That does seem to be what Merriam-Webster is having it defined.
And the philosopher would not define it that way?
Well, let me see. Okay, so because I said it, I looked up Plato's Stanford Encyclopedia. Let's see. Behavior is normally described as altruistic when it is motivated by a desire to benefit someone other than oneself for that person's sake.
Oh. Well,
term is used as contrary to self-interest.
That's
interested or selfless or egotistic.
I mean, that's a very different definition from your very difficult to use term. That just means you're doing it for another person. It doesn't imply... Okay, yeah, there we go. Just because you're doing something for another person does not necessarily imply you get nothing out of it. It just means you're doing your primary... It means your goal is to benefit the other person, not to benefit yourself. Which I think that's very doable.
It lies in the motivation. Partially,
right. Like, motivation is the big deal here.
The counter here is you have to do it without the desire of getting something out of it. Which is why I always say a good...
Back up. According to your... Read your Plato definition, or your Plato... What was that? What was that?
Stanford
Encyclopedia. Read that definition again. If I recall, it didn't have anywhere that said you can have no benefit, or you can expect no benefit off it. It just said you do it for the benefit of another.
Well, the motivation has to be. So it says behavior is normally described as altruistic when it is motivated by a desire to benefit someone other than oneself for that person's sake.
But just because it has benefited... Okay, how about this? You can have multiple motivations to do things. In fact, I would say very often we do have multiple motivations to do anything. Just because you are motivated to do it for someone else doesn't mean you can't also be slightly motivated to have a good feeling about doing it. That's not a contradiction. That's very possible. That was not a good idea. I should have looked before. Because, for example, you can have multiple motivations for something, right? Like if I am motivated to eat dinner tonight, I'm motivated because I want to quench hunger, but I'm also motivated because food tastes good. Maybe I'm also motivated because I want to spend dinner with my family. I'm also motivated because it's a routine. Like, you can have multiple reasons for doing a thing. I have a boomerang now. Call me Sokka.
So okay. So now I got my terms from it. So the counter to altruism is egoism.
Right.
Where ultimately it's the idea that ultimately all actions that we do are motivated by self-interest. At the root, like if you dig down deep, we're all doing things for ourselves. The only reason I help.
Okay, continue.
No. The only reason I help the old lady across the street is because I get a good feeling out of it. And the secondary... So I guess, like, the thing is that you're arguing that your primary one just has to be...
benefiting another person.
It's a good... Right, it's because I want to help the person. The egoist would say, no, you only want to help... You only want to do things for others because it makes you feel good.
I mean, that's a strong claim. I think... I understand if that's your understanding of how people work, sure, but I think you're going to need to give some more evidence for that than just saying that's how it is. Which I'm not sure if we want to or need to at this point, but should. But you understand what I'm saying, where if your view of people is that people are always self-motivated at all times in all circumstances, then sure, but that's a strong view that needs further explanation, either way.
Well, like, that's why my idea for test for altruism is if it caused you pain and you got nothing out of it, like if there was no self-motivation involved, would you still do it? If so, then yes, the act was truly altruistic. But it seems like anytime we try and put ourselves in that situation, we just start saying, no, that's too hard, or like, that doesn't matter. As long as I have a little self-interest, it's okay.
Yeah.
But the question is, if you had absolutely none, would you still do it? If not, then you weren't being altruistic. So is it possible? In theory. Is it practical? I don't know. I don't know a lot of people who would truly do a good act and like...
No arguments there.
It's... What from their perspective would be for no good reason.
No arguments there. It's definitely difficult. No, but I think your statement that it's... Yeah. So I think we can agree on that at this point. It is possible in theory, and I'm going to say I don't think it's one of those things that it's possible in theory but has never happened. I'm going to say it has happened at some point in the past in some place by some person. Who or where, maybe I don't know. Maybe they were long dead. No, I didn't mean to do that. No, I'm sorry, Mr. Shopkeeper. Well, now what? That wasn't good.
What did you do? I just see stuff. What? Oh, he's trying to blow you up.
Yeah. Well,
I should never have angered that shopkeeper.
I never should have. I think that's a reasonable place to end. A bit of a shorter episode this week, but it's fine. We had a longer episode last week.
Well, wait, but before you go, I want to know.
Oh, okay.
Like, what would be the circumstances for this? Like, what would that look like? Like, what would be an altruistic deed?
An altruistic deed?
Like, in this theoretical person in history that has committed this act of altruism.
So, based on our definition of it was done. So, our definition currently stands is when you do a good deed for someone, you donate money to charity, at least how the definition I'm using right now, your primary motivation is to do a good thing for another, but you can have a secondary motivation of, hey, it feels good to give money to charity. That's
okay. Under that definition,
that's what I'm working with.
I will say that not only is it possible, it is commonplace.
Okay. In that case, I think it really just comes down to how you want to define these terms. So, depressingly,
which is what Plato spent his whole life doing.
Yeah, that happens a lot in philosophy, I feel like.
Yeah, Plato's famous thing was always, oh, you're using that word. Do you know what that word means?
I do not.
No? Then stop using it.
Yeah, that's something we should consider more often, which I think is why I try to choose my words carefully, even in common speech, especially when I'm writing, and even when I'm recording YouTube videos, so that's nice. But yeah, it really comes down to how you want to define it. I think we can say, at the very least, people have done selfless acts before. People have done actions that are motivated for another before. If you want to count that as altruistic or not comes down to how you define the word altruistic. So, is that a fair place to leave this discussion?
I think so.
All right. So,
that seems fair.
In other words, we just spent, how long has it been? Around 35, 40 minutes getting, I don't know, not really anywhere. We just said, bro, if you write the dictionary, it depends on how you write your dictionary, right? Which,
I mean, yeah, that's usually how words work.
we need to stop trying to do these episodes where it's define what is this word possible or what does this word mean, because I feel like oftentimes we end up as, well, is what it means depends on how you define it. So
yeah, I mean, I think I think that's important. Like, I think like that, because that's a very key part of philosophy, is knowing what your terms are and how you use them.
Yeah.
Like, and I mean, I feel like it's really commonplace for people to use words and not know what they mean, and then like make arguments based off them. Like I think in our group chat, I once said the term argument should be, or non-philosophers using the word argument should be cultural appropriation, because everyone uses the word argument, but none of them know what it means. And then they look
because argument can have multiple meanings, right? It can have the philosophical meaning where you're trying to prove a point, but it can also have another meaning where it's just two people arguing. It means have a disagreement, which...
Yes. I think when I said I was using it, people in education often try and sound like philosophers. That's why I used it, because like they basically try to do the same thing philosophers do, but really badly.
Yeah. Then again, philosophers tend to do what philosophers try to do, but often pretty badly. So, where do we stop? Where do we draw the line? Nobody's good at anything. Everything is meaningless. Yeah. There we go. YouTube. There's your mandatory nihilistic philosophy right here at the end, out of nowhere mostly. Yeah.
All right, so let's watch Noah die. And
oh yeah, let me see. I'll find the again? I'll go and get a shopkeeper if I can find one. Yeah. So while we're here, I'll spend a little more time talking about this game now that, depending on how things work out, we're going to try to revisit Breath of the Wild starting next week. So for you Zelda stands out there, rejoice. For those of you who enjoy indie roguelikes, sorry, I guess. Maybe we'll come back to Spelunky at some point. I don't know. Also, we're going to try to do more games than just these two. Our original goal for this channel was we would do a wide variety of games. Although, as it stands, we've only... Ooh, let me see if I can burrow down into his home with bombs. So he's down there. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Oh, yeah. Hello, Mr.
Terrorist.
Shopkeeper. Fight me. I'm dead. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Please, if you enjoyed the video, leave a like. If you have a definition of altruism that is more altruistic than ours, leave it in the comments. Or if you want to talk about anything, leave it in the comments. If you have an idea for what games we should play beyond this, ideally these should be games that are, not very dialogue driven and are pretty easy to play, don't require a ton of skill, although this one's not easy. But yeah, tell us what games you'd like to see in the comments. We're down to play most things that follow those criteria, right? Yeah.
I think so,
yeah. Can't donate to our Patreon yet. Sorry for all of you who have too much money and don't have other Patreons to donate to, I guess.
Don't know what to do with it. It'd be very altruistic if you just donated the money to us.
You know what? How about this? It would be altruistic. Actually, that's the perfect example. It would be altruistic to leave a like on this video. You're not getting any benefit to yourself, but you're doing it for the benefit of another. So
Exactly.
prove
Do it for
altruism
the algorithm.
exists, and leave that like, and comment, and subscribe.
Yes.
But with that out of the way, this has been Amateur Philosophers Play Games, and we will see you next week.